Hi there, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Josh and Jim, or Jim and Josh, depending on what side you're on. Back with another D&D chat.
hmm So
Uh,
Josh wanted to talk time travels.
yes, someone brought it up at the end of our last little chit chat thing that we were doing.
It's been brought up 3 other times in the last 5
Oh,
streams
has
I've
it?
so
So yeah,
so I'm gonna
people
let
apparently want to talk about
I'm
it.
gonna leave it for you.
Um, but okay, so I personally don't have an issue with it. I will say before ever getting into this, like you have to know your world. Like if you're going to do time travel, you have to know your world, right? Because like you have to know where people would have been, in, like depending on which way you're going. I guess forward in time is much easier, because you can just make shit the fuck up because anything could happen. You don't know. Fucking the most powerful mage in existence might get hit by a meteorite tomorrow walking down the street. You don't know. It's like going
Potentially.
forward in time is much easier, um, especially since like if you're only doing small amounts of jumps or something like oh we're going 5 years forward, then a lot of stuff will just be the same. You know, like we're not in a because I mean technology always is advancing like more and more rapidly, but like a 5 year time skip within like a feudal period is not going to be much of a difference in like what's going on.
Okay. Now this is where I'm gonna counter you. If you're in the middle of Tyranny of Dragons and you get sucked into a time portal, 5 years later is a big fucking deal because
Fair,
Tiamat broke through and destroyed the fucking planet.
fair.
The
That's fair.
closer you are, the harder it
I
is
guess that's fair.
because typically your time jump is happening in context of an active current adventure.
Yeah,
So if you get moved forward, you're going to see what happened because you weren't there to fix it.
that's fair.
So that's a lot on your plate to plan on as well.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. But yeah, I mean, I guess it does just come back to the same thing though. Like know your world before you do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and you also have to establish what kind of time travel you're doing as well. You can't just be willy nilly with it and change the rules as you go. So like, is it like Back to the Future style time travel where like you can actually change things by going into the past, or is it more like Marvel time travel where it created a divergent timeline, but your timeline stays the same, but now this new timeline has all the benefits of the stuff that you just changed, you know? Because some time travels do that. Um, or there's a few different ways you could do time travel. Uh, Man, it could work the other way around too, because like people could change your time as well, and you would have no way of knowing it because it would have always been like that. um, that's where it gets like really challenging if you're wanting to do something where it's set up as if people are changing stuff in the past. Is like how do your players know about that? You know, like if somebody's 100 years in the past changing stuff, then your players have always lived with that. If they're not an elf or a dwarf or something that lives a long time,
I mean, that's mental masturbation talk.
that's fair. That's
Our
fair.
players could give zero fucks about the mission that they're on right now in their face, and you really think they're going to sit there around the fire and worry about did something happen 100 years ago to change the timeline that we're in? No, you know what? Now that I think about it, they're probably going to be more invested in that than they are in the mission they're supposed to fucking be on. So scratch everything I just said.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something dumb that you can distract players with, they're gonna do it. 100%. No, most definitely. Um, but yeah, like I said, so it's one of those things where you really have to establish rules before you do it, and you have to stay consistent with it. You can't flip flop back and forth with them and stuff like that, because then it's just going to mess everything up. Like you can't pick and
But
choose.
okay, before we, why?
Why?
Just because?
Well,
Why are we even time traveling? Just because we can?
well, I mean, yeah, some people want to do it. I mean, some people want the ability to do it. I mean, plus I don't know. Some people okay, so let's say for instance, like a lot of people have like within our at least my generation have read the Harry Potter books, right? And one of the big things in that is a time turner, and this is a device which we'll get into why I think this is dumb some other time, but this is a device where you can turn back time a certain amount and
Mhm.
fix stuff or redo things. But then it can create duplicates of yourself within that timeline until the point where they go back, and it's like a whole thing. Um, but so like a lot of people like see stuff like that and they're like, that's cool. I want to implement that into my game. Like, what if I wanted to give my players the ability to go back 30 seconds? You know, like it could be something like you can use this for dialogue. Like you can't use it during combat or something
So
like that
we
because that
so
would mess stuff
so
up.
we so we want to take an 8th level spell and put it onto a device that anyone can use. Okay.
I mean, I mean, we don't have chronomancers in our campaign world anyway, so like people don't
Well,
really.
time stop is a wizard spell.
Yeah. Well, I'm not talking about. Well, yeah, and that could be a thing. That could be a thing as well.
Oh no, you're talking about a superior version of time
Yeah,
stop
yeah, that's
to
exactly.
put on a device for our first level players to play with.
Oh no, I'm
Uh,
not saying give
all
it
right.
to a first level party.
Well, you're talking Harry Potter. That's what
Yeah,
people are putting in their brains. This is
that's
something
fair.
they had in fucking school. Why can't I have this as a
They
real adventurer?
weren't supposed to though. The time
So I
turners
guess
are a big issue in the Harry Potter world. I'm just using that as
I
an
mean, yeah,
example. The fact
I
that
feel
there's
you.
an entire fucking shelf of them and nobody ever uses them is ludicrous to me. Like to the point where they
Well,
had to retcon it and have somebody break all of them so that people couldn't use them anymore because it was like, well, why don't you just go back 30 seconds and fix it? You can do that.
and that opens up a huge thing for your fucking campaign.
Yeah.
Are you prepared for them to go? Oh, I failed. No, I rolled an 11 on initiative. I got a plus 11. Fuck that. I want to go back and re-roll this initiative with my time squirter.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like people see stuff like that though, and they want to implement it, which is why I'm saying like you have to be
No,
very
you can
careful
say
with.
no.
Yeah, I mean you can. Yeah. Well, I mean DMs themselves sometimes want to do that stuff. And they don't realize that it's going to break their game until they do it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you have to like very much put work into it before you just drop these kind of things. That's
Yeah.
kind of the point that I'm trying to make with it. Like time travel can be used, but it is one of those things you have to be very very careful with it, or you will just break your game. Like absolutely.
So I guess that's why I keep landing on why. What are you gaining out of it that is worth the amount of fucking work as a DM that you have to put in?
Some people think it's a cool story, you know. I would, if it was possible, I'd totally do fucking Back to the Future, but there's no way you could do that with like a full group of people because you'd have to concentrate on one individual person.
So now we're starting to see an exponential increase in the difficulty of time travel
Yeah.
when you add 5 people to it. So
Yeah.
again, I submit, why? Why would you torture yourself like that?
People like that kind of stuff, man. There's a reason that it's been used in fiction stuff forever, you know? Like people like it. People
But
think
there's
it's
a
cool.
reason it has not existed in fucking tabletop RPGs as well.
It's very difficult to implement in any way, shape, or form, honestly. Like it really is.
My concern is you're going to waste so much of your fucking time and energy building this thing that your player's going to jerk off around with anyway, and when it's all said and done, no one is going to feel satisfied with it. You're going to be disappointed in what you did as a DM. Your players are going to be disappointed because they didn't really get to really feel like time travelers, and we just spent 6 months to go, that was okay.
But I mean, we were kind of doing this when we were doing our first Sigil campaign. It wasn't necessarily time
we
travel.
were not doing
But
yeah, but it was very
essentially it's the same thing because you're going into it's a different universe that's in the
Mhm.
past from like because like you're seeing an event. It's essentially the same thing. It's just
and that campaign died as fuck.
because people stopped because we couldn't get it. That was scheduling. That had nothing to do with the actual campaign.
Okay.
Two of us were the only ones that could show up, man.
You got a cold in the pharmacy's lazy as F. I'm sorry to hear that. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, time travel. We have Mr. Pro time travel over on Josh's side, and then you've heard me bitching about time travel for about a week, man. Good to see you, Summit. Thanks for dropping in.
So,
I
guess,
did you see my answer to your question? 1 billion chickens versus a Tarrasque. The billion chickens win. Statistical anomaly is going to dictate at least 1% of them will roll a 20 on their 2-hit roll, which is an automatic hit according to 5e rules. 1% of a billion chickens is still a shit ton of damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw your question. I walked away from the computer. I was like, oh, fucking Trask. I was like, wait, no. Natural 20 always hits no matter what it is. Even if it's just a 1% of a billion, is still a lot of damage. That poor Trask is dead. Fun question though.
That shit's wild.
We'll get around to that here in a little bit. As if you want, Enforcer Because Josh wasn't here for any of that, so I would basically have to bring him up to
Unfortunately,
speed
I
on
did.
2 hours worth of political shit that we talked about earlier to be able to get to where we can collaboratively build on that idea. So, hit yeah, I saw the link. I hadn't watched it all the way through. So if you want to hit me back tomorrow, Enforcer, we're doing Planescape Day, Ravenloft Day, all that kind of stuff, and we can actually tie using that campaign idea, the politics that we were talking about. Because that was some fucking awesome shit. That was such a good chat today. I don't want to blow it off, but we're not equipped to do that right now and do any justice to it. So just please hit me up tomorrow during our lunch chat. A lot of the guys will be back that were here today, so we can do a continuation on it. Absolutely. Great, cool idea though. Sorry.
So
Time travel. Go ahead.
okay, so let me ask you what you think about this. What if you go into the campaign like not just I'm going to drop time travel in the middle of my fucking campaign, but like the campaign is built around that from the start, right? So let's say for instance you're doing. I'm trying to think of a good module that like everybody would know. Like I guess most people know Avernus, most people know Waterdeep. So let's say you're playing that.
Use Lost Mines. Everyone knows Lost
Okay,
Mines.
yeah, we can do Lost Mines. Well, I don't know Lost Mines off the top of my head, so I don't know what would really change for stuff. What would be the bad portion of that? But no, what I'm saying though is,
I guess not everyone knows Lost Mines. Sorry.
so let's say we're doing Lost Mines, and your players know this campaign, and when you start
Okay.
it, it's wrong, right? Like they know for a fact that things are wrong within that campaign, and you could do it as we have to fix what the problem was so that the correct adventurers at this point in time can actually finish this campaign, and your job is to make it so that it's possible for them to do that by fixing whatever
Hey,
the hell was
Killer Man, good
changed.
to see you. Thanks for dropping in. It's been a while. You're back. Good to see you back. We're still here doing D chats. Thank you for dropping back in. Good to see you guys popping back around. Great times, great time. So yeah, Josh, sorry about that.
Yeah,
Well, that was the idea behind my first Broken Sigil.
yeah,
The great machine of Mechanus works with Istis, the goddess of fate, to predetermine, basically think of the big Tesseract type thing that was at the end of Interstellar.
yeah. So that's what I'm
That's
saying.
the output of the big machine that puts it out. There's a knot or a twist or something, you send your party out to fix it, quantum leap style.
Ooh,
That was the whole thing with that
what if?
campaign. That's all it was to go make sure that this that was supposed to happen does happen. Or if something happened wrong, you have to go undo it. And that's absolutely doable because it's tiny little isolated super hyper focused points. So it's not even time travel other than in the word.
Um, so I actually had this idea because of what you were talking
Josh
about.
has nice cat
Um,
ears, by the way, Killer Man says.
thank you. Here, there. um, but no.
So
So
I mean,
what if instead of the people, it was objects that were experiencing the.
that was it. That's
Yeah,
what
right.
some of them were people, some of them were objects, some of them were places.
What
It was a
what I'm
wide
saying though.
variety of 15 different jobs that you guys were going to do.
So I guess what I'm saying is kind of within that same realm is Minority Report your people. Like they're getting missions from the future of stuff that's going on. Like this guy's going to do this thing at this point in time. You got to stop it, kind of stuff.
But you're not doing time travel. It's
Right.
just you're using time travel to tell a story. All time travel is no different than a disrupted economy at that point. So that's not using time travel.
That's what I'm saying though. Like you could flip it instead of just being the people that time travel, it's objects that are doing it, which is still technically you're using time travel within your campaign. But
But your players aren't time traveling. It's I guess
right,
that's
right.
so and then we always and this leads us all the way back to the start of the conversation. There's no way to satisfactorily play out freedom of time travel for your campaign. You cannot fucking do it. You have to keep it so tight and so concise to keep it manageable and playable. Then all you did was time traveled in name. That's no different than teleporting or plane shifting or mists of Ravenlofting your way to where you need to be.
Yeah.
So you're reducing time travel to a campaign title MacGuffin and no more.
Yeah, because then I'm also thinking about like the time travel where it was you always time traveled kind of thing, where nothing is different within the present because you always went back in time to do this thing kind of stuff. You could also do that, but you would have to set it so far back that it doesn't matter either. And it's,
Yeah.
it's
And
essentially what you're saying is you could just go to a different plane of existence and do the same thing.
that's
But
Planescape.
yeah. Yeah.
Soma kicks in under that auspice. You could do a Star Trek type story where temporal anomalies bring things back and forward in time. Yeah, but
Ooh.
are you willing to educate how a A-10 Thunderbolt flying over the skies of Waterdeep being attacked by a Griffin Rider and unleashing 7 barrels of 30 millimeter fucking depleted uranium on the city is going to judge out? No. So
he just actually made me think of something good with the Star Trek thing. Is you could Groundhog Stay them as well, where they're stuck in a time loop and they are reliving something over and over and over
don't
again.
bother with me with it. Just no, and that I guess that's the thing is this is one of those days where I feel like the grumpy old man because you guys got some really cool ideas and I'm like, yeah, but did you think about this yet? But did you think about that? It all sounds awesome from a player's point of view. From a DM, it sounds like so much wasted work, so much wasted time, and so much wasted effort for it not to really even be functional in a time travel adventure or to be satisfying in that way. What's the point of going back to change the past if what you did while you were there doesn't affect the future?
Yeah.
What's the point of going forward in the future and playing with all this cool shit if it's just cool shit in the future? That's all it is. It's just silliness. It's a domain of dread.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's time travel stories are basically that anyways. It's just time travel is a MacGuffin to get you to where you were going. And I guess it is what you're saying, where you could just plane shift it. But I mean, some people might just like the idea of that more.
Enforcer, the first domain that I put together for my players was going to be a Groundhog Day. It was supposed to be an in and out 2 sessions, 7 sessions into it. It's like, if they fuck this up, I'm not starting this over as another Groundhog Day. I'm through with this fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right there. They sound good on paper. Yeah. The third time your party has to redo the same thing, no, hell no. You got it. So, once again, a bunch of awesome, cool work to go into something that just ain't going to work, man.
So,
from a mechanical point of view.
Let me ask you if you count this as time travel. I don't know if you would count this as time travel. You already said that there's a spell that does this as but instead of flat out stop, what if instead it was an area has been slowed immensely, like your people are able to move at normal time but everything around them has been slowed. And so, like because I'm thinking of the Star Trek thing again, which is at one point in time they get back and the Enterprise is in the process of exploding, but it's going so slowly that they have time that they can fix it. And so, I'm very like that could be a fun thing to do as well. But I don't know if you count that as
the rule system to make that work.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be the thing is how do you deal with objects that are falling so slowly? Oh man,
all of the time and effort to get there and not be able to enjoy it, dude. That's my thing. There's so much awesome potential for storytelling in time travel. There really is. I don't want to dissuade that. But the fact of the matter is there's no way to mechanically handle it in a consistent way. Otherwise, we'd all be playing that game.
Yeah. I was actually...
You're looking at 50 years of tabletop RPG games. The closest you might get was Rift. If you played with Rifts back in the day, that's the closest you might get to a time travel heavy game. But the impetus there is you were never in a time to begin with. You're going rift to rift to rift. So there is no normal, there is no baseline, there is no standard to worry about upsetting. That's the only reason Rift worked, because you didn't have a home world, you didn't have a home timeline. You were just bouncing through space eternally. So you had the time to play with dinosaurs versus mechas versus wizards versus swords, because it didn't have any fucking impact on what you left or where you're going. Yeah. That's the only time travel system I've seen work in an enjoyable, engaging way for the players. But again, no one liked it because it doesn't matter. What we do here isn't going to matter later.
Yeah.
So it left it's like going to the movies. It's a fucking cheap popcorn type game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some people could get down with that because it's just it doesn't affect our story going forward. But hey, we just changed that world's life, kind of stuff. Some people might be okay with that as a thing, but that would be like a specific group of people you would have to.
Let's shift this. I'm gonna get out of the skeptic DM chair. I need you to tell me now how I would run this as a DM. I've told us 1,000 reasons how this won't work. You've given me all these good ideas. Oh, give me how you make it mechanically work.
I know, and that's what that was actually the thing that like every time you bring it up, that's what I start thinking about is how would I actually make this work? And the only one that actually like took off in my brain immediately was the slowdown one, right? Because you could take everybody down to all you have is your hands and feet now. Because if you throw a projectile, that's it. It's going, but it's just going real fucking slow. So like once it left you, it's no longer fast. Like so you could build stuff around that where it's just like nothing that you throw has anything, no spells can go anywhere for anybody. And it takes them down to you just have to use your hands and your brains for this. And that's the only way you can make this work. Um which could be fun for like something small. Like I wouldn't build an entire campaign around that. I think that could be fun for like an instance of a thing that happened, within a large campaign.
I mean, how would you run it?
That's what I'm saying.
I can tell you mechanically how I could, and I can tell you how much time I'd have to spend to come up with the rule set to make it run consistently for a one-time encounter. I'm not going to do it. How would you do it?
And that's what I'm saying. Like off the top of my head, I don't have like a way that I could do it immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are just like I'm saying. Like I'm getting ideas about how I could do it, but I would have to go in and like look at how I could mechanically make it work correctly. Would be like my big issue. Is like I have these like ideas for how it could work.
Yes,
But I
that
don't
is
know if I'm gonna
time
break
stop
the
and
game.
spell enforcer. We already talked about it a little bit earlier.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like stop. I'm saying slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I'm too far to where I'm at to be, I guess, objective on it. I love the ideas. I love the concept. I've been playing with this shit. There was the companion level modules C4, C5, C6 that were actually time travel based back in the day, and even with TSR printed products, it didn't work. It's just it's too much fucking work for no payoff. Is at the end of the day as a DM, that's where I always land. Because they're all great ideas, but that's hours of me writing, drawing, mapping, building stat blocks, trying to make sure that the timeline, time-space continuum of our universe is either detached or functional for something to everyone go, eh. So that's me like, no, I don't touch it. Yeah, I don't want to discourage you. You guys probably more creative, more open-minded, more liberal-minded than me in regards to time travel and comic book time-space continuums and Doctor Who stuff and all that. You could probably make it work. I don't have the facilities to make it work to where I enjoy doing it. I guess that's the best way to say it. So that's why I want you to tell me how you would do it to make it sound fun.
Man.
Hold on a second. Soma kicks in. It would be investment to figure out how to homebrew these mechanics, but that makes the question a little unfair because Josh would need to sit down and play with the idea, is see if he can make something work, and that's fair.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's really something I would have to like sit down and go like, okay, if I like, is this going to unbalance an entire game if I go, hey, projectiles don't work in this area, kind of stuff, Like, is that going to make it so that like one person is way more powerful than another person just based off of like I have more strength than you, stuff like that. Like, is it like that's gonna be a really big problem, and you'd have to fix stuff around that. That's what I'm saying. Like if anything with time travel is going to be work, 100% it is. And I'm not saying like it's an easy thing to just drop into a campaign or that you should just drop it into a campaign. I'm just saying that it is a fun thing that you can do that like some people might find fun. I'm just saying that I'm not saying do it. I'm saying maybe, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying yes. I'm saying maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really where I am on it. I think it's a fun idea. But like now that we've actually talked about it some more and you're like, well, why don't you just go to a different plane? Is where I'm like, well, I guess you could just accomplish all of this with just magic and not even fucking touch time travel, which is like took a lot of wind out of my sails immediately.
Well, and that's where I've been for 30 plus years, I guess, on the subject.
Yeah.
I mean, so I am, and I've said that the whole time. I'm a little bit jaded at it. I mean, I've put in the work. I've made the systems for 3 different editions to try to play around with it and make tweaks to it, and it's just never satisfying.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than spending the time to build something that you go, so how'd you guys feel? I wish we could have done, and so it's like, no, I ain't doing that shit,
I mean, that's fair. But I mean, like, so other than just like the mechanical issues with time travel, as far as like player enjoyment, I don't see how Planescape would be much different where you're not like it doesn't affect you from your day to day. You're affecting that area and then moving on, kind of stuff.
8,000 potential years of potential screwy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I really think because like when I come from like this perspective as like a player is that I'm here to have fun with the story. So I guess I don't think about the fact that I'm going to be unsatisfied with like some time travel thing. I'm going to go, cool, we just time traveled, and that's going to be a thing that I think about and I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be like a. I mean, and there might be instances where like, oh man, I really wish that we could have done this. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be like, well, this is the DM's call. If they don't want to allow it, then they kind of thing. I'm not gonna be
Mhm,
pissy about it. you know,
mhm.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something that I think could be fun. But again, something that there's a lot of work, and it would take somebody who wants to put in that work to do it to make it worth it and to be good. Absolutely.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just
Well,
I
no,
don't know.
all fair, valid points, all absolutely fair, all that's and there's no doubt that there's awesome moments and awesome stories and great stuff that could be done with it. Is just
I mean, let's be honest. At the end of the day, there's no telling what the fuck players are going to enjoy at any given time. You could do something and be like, "This is stupid," and nobody's going to care about it, and everybody fucking loves it. Or you can be like, "Oh man, I put so much work into this. Everybody's going to think this is so cool," and then everybody's like, "Meh." like, it,
20% the former, 80% the latter.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
80% of the time, your players are gonna be about what you did.
I mean, like, think about it. Like, there's so many times where, like, we as players have just latched onto NPCs that I know you didn't think that we were going to care anything about, and there's been other NPCs that are really interesting that we've just gone, meh, and, like, moved along from.
So yeah, absolutely, and that in the context of time, space, multiversal travel, and making sure you're continue. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, and that's fair.
no, thank you, no, thank you. But I'm not again. I want you. I want to encourage you because you're pro time travel here. Come
Yeah.
up with some cool ideas. Talk about how it might work. Um,
Okay. Um.
Take the
So
stream. Go.
I'm trying to, okay, because I'm starting to think about it like a lot of these other things. It's like a grandfather paradox type thing, right? Where it's like you can't go back in time and kill your own grandfather kind of stuff. So like it
Why
might,
not?
because then you couldn't be born in order to go back in time to go kill your grandfather. Just that's a lot,
That's only one thinking of idea. If you killed your
right?
grandfather, you cease to exist at that point. Your campaign's over. But why would you disallow it?
Well, I mean, it's just
That's another. There's another
it's a
problem with
paradox, is what I'm
setting up
saying.
time
Yeah,
travel. Is there's a multitude of paradoxes and a multitude of thinking that you've got to argue amongst your players to adhere to before you can even
right.
settle on what
Well,
are we doing butterfly effect stuff. If I stepped on that lizard when we came out of the swamp, did the lizard men now have 6 legs
yeah,
instead of 4 legs? Because
and that was the
are
first thing
you
that I
know
said, is you gotta first establish what kind you're doing before you ever do it. But within that,
parallel timelines? Yeah,
yeah,
potentially.
yeah. Within that though,
Leave easy.
there is an episode of Futurama that actually deals with the grandfather paradox, right? Where they go back in time and Fry becomes his own grandfather, right? I don't know if you remember this episode or not, um, but uh, I, I I I I don't see why it can't be that players can't go back in time, have fun with the time travel thing, where they are like maybe it could be, oh, 1,000 years ago there was these heroes that showed up and saved the day at this one town, and now you get to be those heroes and see what happened at that point in time and then come back. It doesn't really
Hmm.
change anything. You were always going to do it. You can't really change anything. It was already established in the past.
Sorry,
We
bad
do get
bad window.
stuff like you can still play your campaign exactly the same, but you might be able to do stuff like, oh, we've been knowing this elf for a while now, this 1,000-year-old elf, and we can go back in time and now they're a child, like an actual child elf and stuff like that. You can run into them. It could be, you can do stuff like that with it, where like it's just
Okay.
like you just, where you don't have to really change anything mechanically. It's just a change of settings, and your party gets to be part of a legend of a land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that could be really
So
fun, and that's
cool.
something simple and easy that you could really do. And that's just, it would take one time for you to do it. You don't really have to change anything. Like, as far as like any mechanics, it's just establish NPCs in a town, have your party get to know the town, and then roll it back to a previous state where it's like the primordial version of this town. Maybe it's just getting built. Maybe like I said it could be elves, dwarves, people that you've met in the town that are like these old people, and now you go back in time and they're kids and stuff like that. Or you might meet
Cool.
meet somebody's dad or
Okay.
grandfather or such, and be like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I know who this dude is related to, or oh
Yeah,
man, that's
we did talk
interesting.
about that in Forster. We talked about that
Which
the
thing?
other day. What you're
Oh,
talking about.
oh, okay. I didn't know that. I think I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. I think like you can do stuff like that, but like it is one of those things where again you'd have to have a party that was engaged with the town they were in order to make it work correctly and have to get to know things about the place. I really think that these are things that would be very situational for like specific parties to do them because like I don't think that you could do this with every party. Like I don't think like a murder hobo party is going to care about going back in time and saving
Mhm.
the day or anything like that because
Very true.
they're gonna be like, well, man, their gold has different stamps. If I bring it forward, it's not gonna be worth anything, or they're gonna think it's fake. Like I have to get it repressed, gonna have to shave it all down. That's just taking time.
Nah, man, you ain't got to worry about coinage from the past being shit. You can spend a 1912 penny just as well as you can spend a 2023 penny right now.
I wouldn't recommend it. You get a lot more money out of the copper.
But you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Soma kicks in. A time travel story done well is going to be more narratively driven.
Yes. Yes. I
Absolutely.
fully agree. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless you're just doing it to just fuck with your world, honestly. Like it could be a good reboot.
You would definitely need the
thing.
right players for it.
Yeah. It could be a good reboot thing. You could 100% take your players back into time when you're at the end of your campaign and be like, hey, you guys are going to mess something up. And I can explain that, hey, we're using the same world. It's just slightly different now because you guys messed something up in the butterfly effect. That could be a campaign ender as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why for me I don't touch time travel because in every instance it's a campaign. It by the logic of progression, it's a campaign alter or campaign ender. You don't go into time travel and come back out of time travel in the exact same spot you did. Otherwise, why the fuck did we waste our time traveling time?
I mean, but we can say that about doing any of our campaign stuff though. Like I left out of this town to go do a quest thing, and I was there for a month, and I came back to this town. You know,
Mhm.
so like you're getting from the same place that you started in, regardless. And a lot of whenever you do these things,
But you went out for a month, you came back 2 or 3 levels higher, you came back with loot, you came back with some experience, you came back with the next quest hook.
okay, I understand what you're saying. I thought you meant like you just pop back into the same place and nothing has changed for you. Like, yeah, there's no reason that stuff can't change for you while you're in the past. Like, there's
Which
yeah. I mean, because
which right back down the rabbit hole, baby.
yeah, there's no reason that you can't level up while you're in the past. Like, there's no reason against that. There's no reason that you wouldn't be able to take, weapons or anything like that out. I mean, depending on how you're doing it, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you go back into a time when the city wasn't there, and there's nothing to loot.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I mean,
So you're not bringing anything forward.
well, I mean, you're still doing a quest. You're not just going back to a
Yeah.
town just to be there. You're still doing a quest. You're still going to fight the monster. You're still going to do the stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm not
I
gonna
would have to say that
knock yourself out, baby.
I would say at the end of the day, time travel is really more of a MacGuffin than it is like anything that you could really do with it. I guess like that's really all it is.
There it is, right there. That's what I said about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
The fact is, you can't actually use mechanical time travel as anything more than something to frame your adventure with or frame your adventure around because the implications of time travel are so severe that either A, you've got to do 1 million hours worth of work to support it, only to watch it, only to screw up anyway, or B, you get stuck in the past so you can keep moving forward from there, or C, you just treat it as a MacGuffin. Which ain't a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a great idea to do that. But the problem that is arising is when you're now putting a time dragon who's dropping a portal under your players and they can move 8,000 years past, present, or future. So it's been canonized. It's in part of D&D now because of that damn dragon. And you're going to have DMs that are slinging their players all over the fucking timeline and all over the worlds and the universes.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's
why we've been talking about it heavily in my stream the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thank you guys for hanging. So I know a lot of you guys, this is like 3rd, 4th, 5th time we've gone over the same stuff.
Yeah, because that's a good point. The time dragon shit. I mean, I'm aware. I'm aware of them. I just had never thought about people are going to start using them now because I wouldn't even attempt to use one outside of Planescape. But yeah, people are going to 100% just drop them into campaigns.
Yep.
Oh man,
because it sounds cool. It sounds cool to time travel, but if you don't, how's that suddenly horrifying? You now have an instantaneous no, let me finish. Pro time traveler, you now have an instantaneous MacGuffin to send your party wherever you want to send them, whenever you want to send them, because the time dragon opens a portal.
I'm not
Instant
worried about the
MacGuffin.
time
You don't even
travel
have to worry
part.
about any of that.
That's that part that's terrifying to me. I don't like them because they're just like, and now you're 8,000 years older. That's why I don't like
You're
them.
not older. You just got moved into the timeline 8,000 years into the future. It doesn't say you get aged and die.
Temporarily, within their stat block, temporarily, you get aged to enfeeblement.
Oh yes, as part of their stuff. No, I'm talking about the time portal movement thing.
Yeah.
Give a fuck about that.
That's fair.
As soon as they kill the dragon, the enfeeblement goes away.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, still, I don't like them like mechanically. Is what I'm saying. Like I think they're horrifying like that. I don't care if like people want to use a time dragon to throw their people 8,000 years into the past. I don't care. This is their campaigns, man.
Yeah. But that's what led us to this point. How time travel, is it worth doing? How are we going to handle it? Is it manageable? How to manage it?
I really think people are going to use time.
Now,
I have it for like wild time
be
travel.
honest. Okay, despite all my skepticism in regards to your time placement displacement sphere type of a thing, if all objects are suspended in movement, that would include someone moving across to punch somebody. That would include me swinging my sword. That would include me. So everything is still moving the same speed anyway in relation to itself. So mechanically, you don't have to do a damn thing to adjust it other than your description.
Well, I was just saying that the people move at normal time. Everything else is not. Everything else is
I'd move at normal time, but when I throw a spear, it suddenly stops moving.
Yes, correct. Yes. Yeah, so as long as it's still attached to you, it would move at normal time, but once it leaves, it is affected by the time around it, so it is no longer like free of like
so at that point you declare any object that's not a moving unarmed person null and void.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're frozen. So it's mechanically it's absolutely easy to handle.
Yeah.
But what's the point?
It's just a cool thing that you could do, just like a cool set piece, or it's just like, hey, there's a town that's slowly exploding in this place, and maybe you try to figure out how to stop the explosion. Maybe you try to figure out how to get everybody out of the town. You know, and that could be.
Everyone could run like Quicksilver at the X-Men movie for.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just that's a cool thing. Like that's a weird fucking thing that we just came across. It was a single episode of Star Trek, man. It wasn't like a whole big thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a lot of people like this episode because this is the episode where Picard draws a smiley face in smoke that's coming out because it's radiation and it's slowly poisoning him, so he's giggling his fucking ass off. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So yeah, if you guys if you don't mind doing the mental exercise to set up all of the mechanics to make sure it's fair, valid, and balanced for how it's going to affect all of the 15 plus classes and in excess of
and that's
how
what
many
I was saying I'd want to look
subclasses.
at before I would say to do something like that, because you might just do something where it's like, okay, your barbarian is carrying everybody out of a town and your wizard's just watching them.
Absolutely.
And that's and I wouldn't want to do that with something. That's why I was saying like it'd be very hands and mind kind of stuff. It would really be one of those things where you'd have to write the scenario for people to play a part regardless of their race, or not race, class, sorry. You would really have to write it into a thing where it's
so it would basically be a 100% handcrafted railroad interactive theme park ride.
Not necessarily, but more like a funhouse dungeon where it's like there's something for like everybody to do in it, but like it's not necessarily that they have to do it. Like it could be
knock yourself out, man.
Yeah. Where it's like nobody's really in danger of anything, but it's just they have to figure stuff out.
Could be interesting. Could be fun. Yeah, there's a million ways to explain that existing. There's a million that mechanically it's super easy to run.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in it, but that's just me.
Yeah. And it could even be that there is like a leaking stop spell at that point in time, and maybe that area is growing larger, and you have to figure out how to stop it for some reason. I don't know why your people would be unaffected. I have no clue why. Like that would be a thing that I would have to figure out in my brain before I would ever get into it. And why it wouldn't do the same thing to everybody else around them. That would be like really a lot of stuff I would have to brain before I would even do a thing like that. This is just like an off the cuff thing. But like there's just like you could do stuff like that where it's like, hey, Like, yeah, get the people out. Maybe you can figure out what the fuck happened. And now that you know what the fuck happened, maybe your wizard can go in there and figure out how to fix it because it's a spell of some kind. Stuff like that. Like, you can do stuff like that. It's just an
Cool.
idea, just off the top of my head. Not like, yeah. I don't know.
No, that absolutely. I guess that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know why I'm stuck on this. I just think it's a really cool idea, and I would love to like mess around with it like in my own time. I don't know.
cool.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah. You need to. I don't know, man. Like I said, yeah, it would absolutely be runnable.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I agree.
I've already built half the fucking adventure in my brain, and I'm never gonna fucking run it.
It's wild. I need that brain. I need to have that in my head because, like, yeah, I'm very much like let me sit down and write this stuff out and then go, fuck, I've written this whole giant section of this, and now this one thing that I forgot breaks it.
Soma's got your back, brother. He says, "Don't let me deflate you." He likes the idea too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, amen, brother. We ain't all got to agree on this stream. That's the wonderful part about it,
But was it Enforcer that was saying that it would have to be very lore based? I do agree. I think that it would have to be very like story driven and not so much like fighty shooty kind of thing, unless you set it up to be that from the beginning. What like I was saying, like your party was always supposed to be the heroes of this town kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, Soma says he's a sucker for the time loop stories. Love Groundhog Day. On paper, they're great. As running adventures, they are epic fails.
Man, I just have this.
Your players do have you guys think it sounds fun, but you don't have the tolerance to go either A, or you get to the point where you're just hand waving up till the one point where they fucked up yesterday so we can fix it. Okay, long rest tomorrow. Okay, this is the next. So it's really cool on paper, but no one wants to play through the exact same moment, the exact same day, every day to find out where they fucked up. It breaks down after like day 4. It really does, man. People are like, "Are you fucking serious right now?"
And my only issue with the Groundhog Day thing would be: do you de-level everybody back to level 1, or where they started at, or do you let them continue to grow?
Why would you even do no? If you're doing a Groundhog Day, it's exactly like your time bubble thing. You're not campaigning, you're not leveling, you're not doing shit, but whatever that day says you have to do, and if you don't do it right, you get to do it again tomorrow. There's no leveling in Groundhog Day. There's no leveling in your time bubble.
That's fair. But no, because I just have this image in my head of like
It's a great idea, and I wish we could make it work. Please don't. And I guess that's my frustration with it. As a sci-fi person, as a fantasy person, I love the idea of time travel. As a historian, I spend a large part of my fucking college degree doing histrionics, which is fucking time travel. Looking at a subject over the course of 75 years of media being released and analyzing each step on how the process actually changed. That's part of my background, guys. I don't want to poo on time travel because I'm anti it. I'm pooing on it because it's so hard to do in a satisfying way. That's just my issue with it.
Sometime I need
kind of like when the guy brought up guns in D&D campaigns, and I'm like, no. Well, why not? I don't do it. Well, they're not a big deal. They have smoke powder. So, okay, can you tell me the penetration difference between a 22 long rifle versus a 45 ACP versus a 5.7 Herstall? Because I can tell you that. You guys want just black powder. My brain goes in an entirely different direction. That's not a fault on the request. That's a fault on me as a person understanding ballistics from the caliber of 22 up to the caliber of 125 millimeter, and they don't work in D&D.
Oh man, fucking the kind of ammunition they would have at this point in time.
Yeah, it should not be a power leveling mechanic. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Murray's character in Groundhog Day learned how to play piano and other skills by abusing the time loop. Interesting.
He does. That's true. He learns other languages and stuff. That's true. But
so, how do you? That's a cool idea. So how would you suggest leveling your characters in a D&D fashion in a Groundhog Day thing? And in which case, if you could just kill the town over and over again, I'm gonna stay here until I'm level 20, then I'll fix it because these are easy fucking kills, yo.
Because we play by milestone, not by XP. I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's how I fix it. But Yeah, it should not be a power level mechanic, exactly.
No.
So balancing that, figuring out how do you let them grow? Are they growing on levels? They get new spells, new skills, and tomorrow morning they wake up with new levels and skills, or they, because that's how Murray did it. So by the 16th day of their failures, they should be level 5 maybe, or would it be? Are we doing homebrew and allowing for skill development rather than level and hit point development? That's the kind of mechanical stuff that I'm referring to. Because
I would
experience procs on the first occurrence because they just experienced it again. A milestone is better. Yeah.
I would say you could do it 2 separate ways. Skill-based stuff, yes, where it's like, hey, I can learn other languages while I'm in here kind of stuff. I can learn a different kind of weapon while I'm in here kind of stuff, but you're not gaining levels. You could also do it by milestone if it's, hey, I figured out a piece of the puzzle to get me out of this. Okay, cool. You guys have progressed yourself towards actually figuring this out.
Yeah.
You've progressed the campaign. You can level now kind of stuff. You would also do that.
Okay.
Because like at some point in time, it's going to be beneficial for them to go, okay, well, let me see if I can use detect magic or something like that and see if I can find something. People are like you said, people are going to get tired of doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. And if you force your party into that, they're going to start doing wild shit just to figure out how the fuck to get out of it.
Really?
I think so.
How'd y'all do in Farthington?
We only played it one time through.
You couldn't solve a 1-day mystery, dude.
Right, but I mean, we're not doing it over and over and over again, though. But if we were,
but there's no, and there is my point. There was so much tension, so much frustration, so much everything in the first day. There's no fucking way I'm going to do that 3 more times. So that's I guess that's where I see the Groundhog thing is breaking down. After a little while, it's not going to be fun. It's going to feel grindy. It's going to feel stressed. It's going to feel tense.
Yeah.
And D&D shouldn't be that way for more than moments in a fight. So I guess that's where I go. Downtime rules to train a proficiency or skill under the time loop, a la piano lessons.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're talking about. Do you just level them up, or do you let them homebrew some stuff and just get better at deception, get better at sleight of hand because he's throwing cards all day long? And then what happens when we finally get out of the time loop? And all we gave them was skills because we didn't want to give them levels because that unbalances everything else. So now they've got overpowered skills versus... That's where I worry as a DM. Balance, campaign, mechanics, etc., etc. I know I sound like a codgery bastard because it's like that won't work because of this, but I've got to look at gameplay from level 1 to level 20, and how does this affect that thing? That's where my stumbling blocks always are. And I'm not saying they're insurmountable, but that's where my fuck it, I give up kind of attitude has kind of gotten, come from. Because there's always another problem and some with time travel, for every one problem your players fix, there's 5 problems that are created for your campaign.
Yeah. Oh man.
I
would love for somebody to figure out paradox.
Marshall's give me skills, right?
Oh man, absolutely. I would love to I mean, certain times where there's like, oh man, it'd be really beneficial if I could just sit down and learn some skills for a little bit. But there's no way we could stop for a fucking month for me to figure some shit out, Like, yeah, right. We ain't got time for that.
I was about to say, even using the optional rules, yeah. Let's go with optional rules and allow you to learn skills. That's a month. That's a month of repeating Groundhog Day to get a +1 in something. Are your players going to be okay with hand waving 60 days worth of Groundhog Days aside so they can all get +3 in their skill? And at which point do I start putting insanity checks on you because you've been reliving the same fucking day over and over for 60 days? Yes. And now I need wisdom and intelligence checks. Oh yeah, you've been inflicted with insanity. That's not fair. That was part of what was hitting Bill Murray, dude. Homie drove off of a cliff.
I just figured out how the issue.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
The issue is that we're not playing Call of Cthulhu. That's the problem. If we were playing Call of Cthulhu, it would work. Because then you could roll for insanity for everybody.
You have been saying Call of Cthulhu for 3 years to me. You have yet to send me a document. I don't even think you own it. I don't even think you know how to play it.
I've only played it for 12 hours, man.
Why do you keep asking me to run it then, dude? You haven't in a while. That's fair.
It was the okay. That was the thing where like the guy who used to run games for me, where I stopped playing with them because I went in to play this game. He made me do all this research for the thing before I was allowed to join into it. I made a character.
Mhm.
I sat at that table for 12 hours not doing anything because my character was not introduced yet. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm done playing with you guys. Like I'm not doing this. I sat for 12 fucking hours not playing that game after looking into it.
Any of my players that have been part of my RPG dungeon stuff, you can say thank you because I've got new players integrated and hitting the ground within 15 to 20 minutes of every session, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I was mad as fuck.
Someone's like, is Call of Cthulhu in there with you right now? Says Jim. He's making fun of me. It's all good, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't own it at all. I've never owned it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. For some reason you talk
I think
about
it's a
it
fun-
so much
I think it's a fun
that
game.
I thought you had it.
No. I've like I said, I've
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I just think it's a cool like oh man, my camera just died. Give me a second. Let me turn my camera back on.
You drop that sucker, man. But no. Yeah, and therein lies your other rub, you know. Cthulhu may be a better game for time travel. No different than Twilight 2000 is a better game for gun combat. Cyberpunk's a better game for postmodern futuristic. So instead of completely tearing apart your D&D game to make time travel work, maybe pick up a different system.
Yeah. That's true.
You know?
That's true.
Sometimes just trying to shoehorn something into that it wasn't necessarily built for, you end up with that. It was okay, which is worse. That's a worse feeling. Being told this thing sucked and this is why, I can learn from that. Being told this was fucking awesome, I had a great time, I enjoyed the feedback. Being told, it was okay, oh man, damn. I didn't even elicit a negative response or a positive response. I just got a meh, you know?
I will say this: the Farthington thing that we did, that is one of the more memorable things that like we all talk about constantly. Like
in a bad way.
Well, no,
in a fucking bad way.
Because anytime we run into cranium rats, like they're not like a really big issue by themselves. But anytime we come into contact with one of them, we're like, "Fuck that noise." We know what they could do. Fuck that noise.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Like the us to me is horrifying. Like I don't like that.
Yeah, the Farthington thing for me was a case study in what not to do on 15 different levels for a homemade domain.
I was like the us thing, right? Where I found out that apparently people make deals with this thing so that you can take cranium rats with you so that you can pass messages through them, which is wild to me.
Paraka the Catcher.
Yes.
Is not Parappa the Rapper, but Paraka the Catcher.
Yeah, that's
yes.
wild.
Excellent. Yeah. Dude, Sigil is... If I could keep people indoors for a full 20 level campaign, I would love to run a full 20 level fucking Sigil campaign. But I need to do it with people that have already experienced Planescape so I don't spend so much fucking time trying to
explain
burn the city into people's brains.
Yeah, that's fair.
Again, an excellent campaign setting, excellent campaign idea for the right group of players and the right scenario.
Yeah.
You know, but that's all of D&D, guys. I mean, shit, that's the joy of the game is there's so much freedom and so much flexibility to figure out what can we do, how can we do it. But the counterpoint of that is not everyone wants to do it. So, you know, you get some really good ideas that just fall flat because your group, you know, wasn't really into that. Or you know, it's balancing it, man. You know, and again, I got the flexibility of, I guess I've got 5 of y'all plus 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 in my online play, and I guess in the last 8 weeks I've played with another 27 people. So in the last 2 months I've played with 37 different D&D players. Okay, you learn a lot. And you learn that you ain't gonna be able to please everybody, you know. But you learn that for 30 different players, there's probably 15, 20 different styles, but they all agree on certain things and certain facets. It's weird, dude. You want to be you know, it's like, I wish I had finished a sociology degree because I could probably write a book on the human condition based on my interaction with D&D players.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't do what you do. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like, I don't have the confidence in myself that if I went to these campaigns week after week and there was somebody that was constantly pissing on me, or just different people constantly doing it, oh, I would not be able to handle it. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Well,
man, this is killing me. My emotional
dude,
fucking like is going
y'all
down
have been
hard.
duking on me in my campaigns for 3 years. I'm used to it, man. It's okay. Well trained. Well trained.
Man, the only person I've ever seen like really like flat out say stuff is Thomas. Like he'll be like, no. Like,
Yep.
yeah. Like, damn.
So, but it's fun. It's yeah, a qualify for a sociology degree, right? Or a psychology, one of the two. No, you can't be a psycho and be a psychologist, can you? I'm kidding. But all of that being said, it's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an
That's fair.
opportunity to interact. I mean, I've absolutely had to get out of my comfort zone, you know, from what I normally do when I have customers, because the equation changes when money changes hands. I have to ensure an entertaining and good time for not just one player, but for 5 and 6 customers, you know, and making sure that even if they don't see each other eye to eye, you know, trusting and letting the process play out, but kind of interceding when I can, when I need to keep things from getting tense. You know, it's fucking, it's a challenge, dude. It's fun though. It's a lot of fun.
It's good.
You know, it was no different than we all first started playing online back in the day, man. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
the only difference is here people don't get as nasty as they did on online because you're looking across the table at the dude. You know.
I mean, and to be fair, most of these people probably aren't playing a full campaign with you either. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, some people doing it? They're paying for a
Both.
full thing.
Well, week by week, but yeah, they've committed to Greyhawk and Planescape. They're playing the Hardby side of the House of Hardby that you guys played the Greyhawk side of.
Yeah.
And Planescape is actually doing the Dev of Spark, Broken Sigil, and some of the other stuff I had. The stuff that y'all play tested, I'm actually working with them.
Fair enough.
For lack of better term. No, and again, at the same time, it's you know, even though there's a bunch of false starts, a bunch of fails, and all that, what the crap we went through in our Greyhawk campaign has definitely prepared me to make this other Greyhawk campaign run so much smoother and so much better. You know, same thing with the Planescape campaign. First thing I did was got the fuckers out of Sigil as quick as I could. You know, I'm not going to waste 2 sessions in Sigil when no one cares about Sigil. Go hard on the Wednesday night group, right? I respect that, dude. Hope you and Sunday are paying for your expertise and knowledge, not to be owed a cookie cutter experience. Well, I appreciate hearing that, man.
Yeah.
Go hard on the. Yeah, I was good. I was really tempted to finish off Adam last night, but I didn't want him going out on a death. But I almost got the feeling he wanted to go out in a heroic. But he did, dude. Y'all kept that Flynn and a Balgruah and a Caster, took them down. They're like, that was a tough fight. Dude's dropped 100, was 78, 34. 112 plus 72 on the Bargura. I'm sorry, it was 184 points of damage that you guys did in that fight. Y'all brought the fucking heat, man. Straight up. I slightly reduced the attack ratios and the damage on the Flynn, but the Bargura and the cultists were as written, man. You know, good fight. Y'all did really good. Yeah, you guys, exactly. You guys whooped that ass. Like I said, I dropped the hit points on the Flynn by 40. I dropped his armor class by 1. I dropped his plus to hit by 3, just to kind of reduce threat him. But everything else was straight off the stat block on everything. You guys it was a good fight. You guys did really well.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm hoping they have a balanced team.
Yeah. Bard, Wizard, Monk, Barbarian, Ranger. Or no, we're losing our Pally, aren't we?
Oh man.
Yeah. Still no real healing, but it's okay. It's okay.
Look,
like I'm not used to running campaigns for no healer groups for the last 5 fucking years of my life.
Yeah, that's true. You say, look, everybody that plays gym campaigns, play a healer. Just pick a healer up. They're fun. Do it. Pick a healer.
Yeah, right. No, it's dude. Well, again, with if I had known, it's all good. It's all good. I'm straight up, man. I'm not even worried about it. Like I said, you know, people ask me at RPG Center, "What do you have a healer?" You don't need one.
Yeah.
I'll handle that for you. If I ever hear anyone say go, I guess I'll play the cleric. No, Play what you want to play. If you come to my place and say, I fucking want to rock a cleric, I'm going to give you a hug and say, bless your heart. But other than that, I'd rather you enjoy your character and me adjust the content than me, force you into playing something you don't want to play.
Yeah.
I've been adjusting content for healer-free groups for a long time, man.
Our current Greyhawk, we have we just got a cleric because somebody switched to one, but we did have a wizard, a sorcerer, a monk, a I keep wanting to say a thief, a rogue, yeah, and an artificer. Yeah, I couldn't think of rogue. I kept thinking assassin. I couldn't think of rogue.
Yeah,
but yeah, so absolutely no heals within our group. The wizard and I can kind of do small heals, but like nothing major. We're not keeping a party alive. We might keep you alive for one turn. That's about it.
Yeah. So now, as a DM, I'm going to tell you that you either got to provide a lot of potions, a lot of homebrew scrolls, and you got to watch what you're using. If you're using creatures that can just crater a fool for 50% of their hit points per hit, and your group doesn't have a healer, you're trying to TPK them. One of the worst parts about having a zero heal group is they don't get to fight fun monsters. I've got to remove so many monsters from the game that have conditional damages or remove the conditional damages to where that's my only downside of planning campaigns for zero heal groups is everything is just a hit point blob. It's not fun. It's not unique. There's no special abilities because your team can't deal with it. Yeah. They can't fucking deal with conditions. They can't deal with darkness, blindness, silence, deafness, poison, paralysis, none of that stuff without a restoration, repeated restoration. So you need to pull it off the table, which takes your monster menu from that to that. That's my only issue. And then combat gets boring for them because all it is rolling to hit until the damage number eats the other damage number. There's no strategy, there's no tactics, there's no fun stuff because you have to take that out. But it's okay. It's more important, I guess, to make sure the player's enjoying their characters. Yeah. I have the Way of Reversing Monk Cleric in my back pocket. If Hunter goes down, I'm coming back as a healer. Hell yeah.
I'm working my way around. I got Monk, Barbarian, and Ranger left to play before I've played every class.
There you go. There. Yeah. But yeah, so that's, in that kind of a view, accommodating your players, maybe I got to take another look at accommodating time travel if it's important to players nowadays. Maybe this is old man shaking fist at cloud, realizing that everyone thinks time travel is a normal thing because of the multiverses and the comic books and this is and that's and the others, and I'm behind the times because I don't allow time travel and I don't plan for time travel, even though I'm fully capable of it. I just know y'all are gonna be like, it was okay. Because that's been my experience every fucking time through 40 years of Dungeons and Dragons with those kind of things. It was okay. And it's just not worth the work for people to go, it was okay. Maybe now that people are enjoying it and expecting it, it might be better received. Because then again, you're talking about a time back in the 80s and 90s. There ain't no internet. If you wanted to see a movie, you went to movie theater, you went to Blockbuster fucking Video. So these kind of concepts we had to hash out in the room with each other while we're rolling dice. So a 5-hour D&D session involving time travel was 4 hours of arguments about the physics, the physiology, the concepts of time travel, and an hour of actually playing it. So maybe that's a different thing now. Maybe I'm not going to face a bunch of hypothetical, well, technically, according to Varm's Parsi theory, that this time travel, fuck you. That's why I don't do it.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
Drive Jim to drink with time travel requests.
I don't think that like necessarily that people expect it. I just think that it's very in right now because there's so many things that are playing around with multiverses and time travels, and it's just like very faddish right this second. So a lot of people, a lot of people are into it. Like, right, it's like probably when Back to the Future came out, people were super into it at that point in time as well. I'm trying to think of other movies that were time traveling between the 80s and now, but I can't think of anything.
They can't even do time travel movies worth the fuck, y'all.
Wait, the 90s.
If Hollywood can't do a good time travel movie, how are we supposed to do a good time travel campaign, man?
I got it. The 90s. Ninja Turtles 3.
I'm sorry?
I said the 90s.
Which
Ninja
one?
Turtles 3.
Oh shit. That's funny as hell. It can be done. It can be done, but I have, maybe it's my failure. I have yet to do it well.
I mean,
So after repeated attempts and not having an enjoyable experience my way or the player's experience, again, this is back in yon day when all we didn't have fucking PlayStations, we didn't have PCs and instant connectivity. We would sit over at friggin' Gene Cummings' house or Bruce Windsor's house all weekend, sweaty ass, geeky ass teenagers fucking playing D&D. So yeah, you ran out of shit really quick when you were getting 4 books released a year to buy, and you're playing weekly. We got into all kinds of crazy weird shit. As a matter of fact, I remember one time travel module provided by TSR sent your group into current day London, okay, to reclaim the Mace of St. Cuthbert.
interesting.
They don't tell you how the mace got there. They don't tell you why the mace got there, which was the biggest thing before we even got to the adventure. How did St. Cuthbert lose his mace? So the idea of just enjoy the moment wasn't even possible because of even your face is like, how?
Well,
you don't even know.
My only issue with it is like modern day London, and I'm like, that's going to cause a lot of problems.
Modern day London in 1983. Still
guns,
not much better.
Guns still fucking existed, man. I could go to a payphone and call somebody. That shit's wild to think about.
So isn't that an interesting turn? We have a fully presented produced module by TSR that put us in the future, and now we're skeptical about how time travel will work, but we could make it up ourselves?
I would never go that far forward, man.
Oof.
I'd never go that far forward. We're never touching modern day times. That's a bad idea to do with a fantasy based game because like your characters become either way overpowered real quick or.
What do you think is going to happen 8,000 years in the future from the Time Dragon's portal? You think it's still going to be fucking Faerun the way it is?
I was thinking more like getting closer to like Eberron and like Magitech and stuff like that. I'm not thinking like we're gonna drop them off in like modern day America or something, you know. Oh man, have you guys heard about this new sword? It's called an AR-15. Badass.
Right? that therein lies your rub, you know.
Your
Another one, Land Beyond the Magic Mirror. You know, Land Beyond the Magic Mirror has your players going into it's a mock-up of Alice in Wonderland and Beyond the Magic Mirror. Your party, one sequence in that, they actually find their way through a portal into a modern home.
Interesting.
Just a home, just a suburban home full of modern gadgets, and they have to navigate their way through there to find a VHS to put in the tape player to turn on for the TV to turn on, so they can climb through the TV to get out of the house.
That I think is cool. I'm okay with that.
You know, cyberpunk birds everywhere. If Rick and Morty taught me anything.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. So they've been done. Like again, like I said, I'm not, you know, I'm speaking from a position of grumpy gurgle, but I'm also speaking from a position of experience.
Yeah.
Hell, what was that module? CM4, One Shall Rise. It's a companion level module where your party goes back into the flipping Stone Ages. Like, you know, all metal is gone except for what your party brings in. Dudes riding around on mammoths with flint point spears and all that kind of crap. Your party gets plunged into like freaking prehistoric times in Mystara to try to fix something that was fucked up by the Gleantry Republic. So I'm talking heavy duty, multiple books worth of lore supporting this mission, and it was still
See, and that's what I think most people would do if they were going to do like time dragon thing, like bringing it back to that, is I think people would just use it for Og and Tog times, or be like, hey, I'm gonna send you like just do ridiculous amounts of time instead of like small things. Mm-hmm. I could see a lot of people trying to do caveman times with time travel stuff 100%, because you can play around with that and justify it not changing really anything. I mean, it's still, but yeah.
Not if you're a butterfly effect believer.
I know. That's what I'm saying, depending on
what happens to that one arrow that you shot that you didn't pick up, and now all of a sudden people have discovered metal 7,000 years before they were supposed to. And you get back into the future and everyone's wearing carbon fiber armor because metal armor was so 2,000 years ago, dumbasses. Where'd you guys come from? This is our time. No, it's not. Look at how you're dressed. That shit's antique.
To be fair,
are you wanting to play
metals? To be fair, natural metals already existed at that point in time. They just had to learn how to refine them and make them. Like, so that it would still.
Well, that's why I'm talking about that. Okay, but you're now trying to interpose real life human history into a fantasy universe. And if we really want to
Magic
go down that
exists.
rabbit hole, baby, I'm ready to start throwing,
Yeah,
baby.
I was gonna say
You know?
magic exists. That's really the thing that always ruins it, is that magic exists in these worlds. That'd be a really interesting thing to play around with, though, is like how primordial magic could be different, but you'd have to write a whole new magic system yourself to do that, which would be
Mhm.
wild. But
Mhm.
yeah, but that could be a fun thing to do.
Dude, let's be honest. People can't be bothered to adapt the changes to magic to when they go to an outer plane on Planescape without people getting butt hurt. What are you going to do with 8,000 year time shift of magic?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, look, you know how I am on this. I think people get really, really butthurt about like their idea of how their characters should operate, and they're not okay with like the setting changing them. And I think that's really silly. Like I think I think that's a cool thing to happen. Like you go into a different plane, and it's like, oh, your magic doesn't work the same here, or it might not work at all because you're in this place, and people aren't willing to go, okay, well, how do I deal with this now? Like, what do I do to
Yeah.
overcome this?
So yeah, double that down on time travel going past or forward.
Yeah.
How are you going to manage that stuff? You know,
Yeah.
you're casting a spell that hasn't been invented yet. Can you cast it?
Interesting.
There is no access to the weave in the year minus 4,000 DR. How are you using your magic?
I was gonna say that's it's very interesting. Well, because I don't know about like the weave thing or not. Is this? I don't know.
I don't
I'm
believe in
just
the. I only talk weave because it's a 5th edition term. I don't believe in the fucking weave. That's a
okay.
cop out bullshit.
Okay,
But anyway,
good. Because I would say that primordial magic should exist at that point in time if magic exists. To be fair,
yeah.
yeah.
No, the weave is Forgotten Realms hand wavy. We can just blame everything on the weave. The weave is the MacGuffin that handles all magic questions in 5th edition.
Right, because that's how they justify having one god of magic instead of multiple gods of magic for each different universe.
Yep.
Nope, I gotcha.
Yep,
That's
yep,
right. That's right.
yep.
That's really dumb.
You said it, not me.
No,
Oh,
I
D&D
agree.
midichlorians.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Basically, though, I mean, basically,
You know,
yeah,
that's
I mean,
the
it's not
5e
wrong.
answer for it. You know, well, that's you got to understand though. Back in yon day, pre-weave, we had ley lines, but you had to tap into those physically and still be magical to do anything with them. You had to have been a learned wizard to do anything but blow yourself up on a ley line. You know, so they hey, Killer Man, good to see you. I was gone eating dinner. I have built my first formidable base. Yay! Awesome, good deal, man.
Hell yeah.
Welcome back. Appreciate you dropping in. We got about another half hour, 40 minutes to go, right? It's only 4:50. Feels later. Yeah, we still got a lot of time to go.
Yeah, it's because time's changing. It's dark as fuck.
Yeah, I'm looking outside. Damn, it get dark. It's been raining all day over here too, so it's even worse, man. Like sweater weather. Of course, every day is sweater weather for me. I'm a cold-blooded bastard. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, the time travel stuff. As you know, as this conversation has gone, I'm still not like willing to go set it up. I'll acknowledge, like I have at the beginning, there's a lot of fun to be had, but I encourage you DMs to get out there and try it yourself, man. Don't just take my word for how effed up it can get. You'll have fun moments. I don't want to distress you from that. You'll have some stuff, and you'll have the opportunity to really get into some deep, weird, trippy concepts. But just be prepared that a lot of what you're planning for is going to fall flat. A lot of what you think is going to work is going to be countered by your players' opinions on time travel. You need to be willing to say, shut up, this is how we're doing it. Just accept it.
Yeah.
But if you have a very intellectual player at your table, they are going to go to, I don't know, what do you want me to do? You told me to accept it. That's human nature. That's human nature for an intellectual engagement on this kind of subject matter. You have to be prepared for those heavy-duty debates when you bring it in. Double down when you say, just fucking do it. Okay, Dad, whatever. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong about it. It's a whole situation.
He was... You have verified chats only over on your side, don't you, Killer Man? Killer Man says that he went to your side, but his chat's a verified account. I don't know. Thank you for pointing that out. Apparently, my boy wasn't even aware of that.
I've turned that off like twice now. For some reason, it keeps getting turned back on, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Don't know, dude. But
I clicked the wrong thing.
have
Activate
fun with
post
it.
order.
Try it out. Just understand that there's a lot of work that's going to go into it. Understand, and more so than any other adventure concept, man. Make sure you're concluding your players and working with them on it. It might sound really fun to surprise them with a jaunt to the past, and you go through this doorway and you come out the front door of the building, with the one building that is in the town, and how fun that could be as a surprise. Be ready for the first hour or two of that surprise to be basically reteaching your players what's expected, answering all the questions about how time travel works in this. Is there two of me here? Can I go kill the other one of me? All of that kind of stuff. What happens if I kill this cow? If I kill enough cows, do we depopulate the entire world and there's no more beef in the future? Be ready for that silly shit. Straight up. But if you can work your way through all of that, you can have some fun, man.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Because that's 100% going to be a thing that people are going to be asking about, is like, hey, can I do this stupid thing? It's like, well, yeah, but why would you do that? Or you did.
I'm in the past. No one's going to care. I can't get caught.
I mean, you can still go to prison in the past, my guy.
Not in the caveman days. They didn't have prisons, man.
No, but they sure as hell had Og and Tog are going to beat your head in with the fucking rock.
What's their rock going to do against my full plate and +3 flaming sword?
You got to sleep sometime.
I'll just go kill Og and Tog in their entire... I'll go fucking Anakin on those sand people right the fuck now and make sure I can sleep good tonight. What happens then? You depopulated 30% of the Forgotten Realms. Oh, that's bullshit. That's what you're going to be ready for, man.
I think that's fair.
He's working on his verified account stuff. So
yeah, I'm trying to.
But yes, I do agree with Josh that if you can make sure that you keep it very focused and very compartmentalized and very event based, you could have some fun with it. But if you're going to include it for a major point in your campaign, ew, dude, it's going to be a big major headache. Have a real misunderstanding about the olden times. There may have been less technology, but civilization, intelligence, and culture still existed. Yeah, to an extent, absolutely.
Should be off now. I went and turned off the.
It should be off now, Killer. If you want to go check them out.
If not, then it might be.
But yeah,
updates or something.
Some yeah, we talked about that a bunch on in some of the world building thing, because it's like you have to have this and then you add magic on top of it. But if you're starting with magic on the bottom and then putting everything else on top of it, it can collapse pretty easily. Civilization, society, we were talking about that today in our the man chat. Societal norms are established and should vary from kingdom to kingdom. Otherwise, kind of like we use the states of the union. If every fucking state was the same and everyone was the same in every state, or why would we have 50 of them, man? I know that's super simplified, but it's still kind of on the same thing. There's differences between the regions. Civilization, technology, and culture existed back then. So when you're going into time travel, are you altering the political lines, or does it even matter? And let's be honest, if you're just doing a short little one, Rick and Morty, jaunt. In and out 10 minutes, one jaunt, no, then that stuff really may not matter. You're just doing one self-enclosed thing, and you're using time travel as a story MacGuffin with no effect on anything other than just going somewhere different, or saying we're going to the same place. It just looks a little different. Oh, wow, cool. And it works fine with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, small things where it's like, oh, you have to go to the past in this one specific house in order to get this item that was there, a week ago, but it's not there now, kind of thing. You can do shit like that where it's just like nothing really changes.
And it's gonna be manageable. It's gonna be fun, but every time. So, hey guys, do you think if I steal all of this shit out of this house, it'll be antiques when we get to the future, and it'll be worth some money? And you might have some fun with that. Or you may have developed a nemesis whose family's wealth was stolen and the father committed suicide and he trained to become an assassin, and he finds out that your people have the silver platter still sitting over the bar in their house, and now you have an entire Assassin's Guild chasing you. Butterfly effect. Are you willing to do that? Sounds cool from my end, and as a DM, and all of a sudden, my player's like, fuck that. That's bullshit.
I'm 100% into that, though. I think that's cool.
Rick and Morty did it. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're talking about. So, but that's layers of preparation. That's layers of thought. That's layers of additional stuff. Again, keep in mind. That's the only thing I want you to keep in mind is the work that you're doing for a real world campaign that your players are living and sleeping and have families and have homes. It's hard enough to keep them engaged in that and keep that flowing in a way where player agency matters. What are you going to do when you start fucking with the past on top of that? I'm not. I ain't even talked about the future because my assumption is if the players go more than 5 years into the future, they're toast. Well, maybe depends on your setting. Like you said, I send you to 2014 Afghanistan in your armor, you're dead. Bye.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So, 2014 Afghanistan is within the realm of Mr. Time Dragon.
Yeah. But see, in my brain, in a world that like magic and shit like that
Truly
exists,
spin the ideas under the sun. Yeah.
like you're probably going to develop better armor and stuff like that. But I would imagine better. But like I don't see why people would move from swords and shields and magic to guns if I can already throw a fireball at you. I don't need to invent a gun. You know what I mean?
And why do you like an artificer with a shoulder mountain cannon turning into three cannons? Because it's so OP to have an artificer. Because why? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I mean, it's burning hands, but mobile.
So you're acknowledging that there's a reason for us to develop new classes and technology that now give us 3 things that can run around shooting burning hands while I cast fireball.
Fair.
Okay.
No, fair.
So magic technology is moving forward just as well. Why would we need?
And that's what I said. I would say more along the lines of like an Eberron style thing, where it's more Magitech than it is like we developed, firearms, and now it's just modern day times. Is how I would imagine jumping into the future would be. I definitely think that there would definitely be like way more like wild things in the future than there are at current times. But I'm not thinking it'd be like the way modern times are. I think that magic would fundamentally change development for any world.
Anyone watching, I may suggest you go check out the setting Blackmoor, written by David Arneson, BA1, BA2, BA3, BA4. It's a full-blown setting. 3 of the modules actually give you ray guns, flying spaceships, all of that kind of shit incorporated in with 5th edition first edition D&D. Been done before. The setting of Blackmoor is really cool, but the breakdown of the City of the Frog was a piece of shit. But that was TSR already explored what you're talking about, and yeah, there was no magic at the end of it. There's no point in being magic because it was expensive for anyone. We working on the assumption that every single person can cast spells by going into Eberron's thing. The logic of it is, once again, you got to remember, it's fucking expensive to be an adventurer. It's expensive to be a wizard. 96% of your population is cut off of it. So if I can develop a weapon that gives the 96% of the population the ability to stand equal to the 4% of the population, the 4% of the population ceases to exist.
I guess it's fair.
Magic would definitely change the path of history, but would not completely negate technological advancement. Necessity may be the mother of invention, but it still happens slowly without it. Yeah, and that's my point. And that was a view of the good point there. The Blackmoor setting, and that's what it kind of took it to. What does a magical civilization look like at its terminus? It's not magical anymore. It's purely technological. Because magic is something only certain gifted people or only certain wealthy people or only certain pious people were able to keep themselves and keep themselves powerful over the rest of us. Necessity bearing the need to make ourselves stronger and eventually surpassing and eliminating all magic users. Because it's just a small population that can do it.
Well, what's to say that it wouldn't wind up being like how computers are, right? Where it's something that starts off very expensive, but the longer that it exists, the more accessible it gets to be to other people. So what's to say that like the longer the time progresses, that magic doesn't become more accessible instead of less accessible?
There's nothing saying that other than the fact that we already have sorcerers, we have warlocks that are already shortcutting the magical process anyway.
That's true.
All I'd have to do by that right is, hell, I could be as powerful as any wizard. I just gotta sell my soul to a brother. I don't even have to hit anyone, do nothing. Shit. Mr. Ifrit, can you give me the magic power to be a level 20 wizard? Awesome. What do I give you? My soul when I die? Awesome. Why isn't everyone a warlock if you're by that standard?
They should. Because people don't want to sell their souls. But I mean, it does. There are things like
the irony. This being this justifies warlocks. Absolutely, it justifies warlocks. It doesn't justify no magic. So when you have those in play as well, why would I try to learn magic? I'm just going to bang the sorcerer, and our kid will be a magician. Fuck yeah,
and that's what I
you
was gonna
know.
say is like, because we have like tieflings and stuff like that. I don't see why people like why it wouldn't become more inbred within like society, stuff like that, like where people are just coming out
But
naturally
that's still,
magic.
and but that's what I'm saying, to the point where it's no longer even necessary, you know.
Like, so let me ask you. I don't know if this is like a canon thing or not. Like, so this is just a me asking thing. The tiefling thing, right? Because
I,
people,
go ahead,
like a normal standard human mother and father can give birth to a tiefling, right? So I saw a thing that was talking about how this is because if you break a deal with a demon of some kind, that this can cause someone like within your generations to be born as tieflings. But
I'm not going to comment on that because we've had 3 different derivations of tieflings
fair.
over the multiple editions of D&D. Tieflings actually existed in 2nd edition D&D as what they are, the offspring of Cambion and Mortal, with a cursed bloodline moving forward from there. The tiefling is the result of a dude and a succubus banging it out, or a chick and an incubus banging it out. You get a Cambion. Cambion bangs it out with another human, you get a tiefling. It's that fucking simple. Why are we making all this crazy shit with it, dude? Because what? Our players don't go around sticking their stuff into everything that they can? You know, it's not hard. It's not hard.
Oh.
That's where tiefling started.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not.
Because that succubus be hot AF, and you know.
Oh, that 100% would be happening all the time, 100%.
But so straight up, that's why there's a lot of tieflings in the world.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah,
conductive contract negotiations. Yes.
Given that though, I don't see why people like a normal human mother and father couldn't give birth to a tiefling just because they have tiefling in their bloodline somewhere. You know. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
That's therein lies the rub. It had to get in there somewhere.
Yeah.
If dude, Josh, when you build your world, you can give tieflings whatever back you want. I'm just providing what the books have said over 30 years.
Well, no, that's why I was asking though. Cause
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just saying, do what you want, but this is what it said.
Well, yeah, that's why I was asking, because it was just a thing that I saw that said that like if you break a deal with a demon, it can result in you giving birth to a tiefling somewhere in your life.
And if it sounds fun, go for it.
I just wasn't sure if that was actually canon or not, because that's why I was asking.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay,
I don't know.
That's what I was asking.
I know there's pages and pages and pages of information in regards to mortal fiendish relations and their offbringing between your 2nd edition Planescape book, your 2nd edition Guide to Hell, your 2nd edition Guide to the Abyss, as well as your 3rd edition Hordes of the Abyss and your 3rd edition Tyrants of the Hells. So between those 5 books, I'll take those over your paragraph any day.
I mean, I was just asking, man. I don't know.
But as I was saying that, I was seeing a page in the Tyrants of Hell that, in fact, yes, a cruel joke was to curse a family with the birth of a Cambion to fuck that family's social standing up because they broke a deal or whatever. So there is precedence for that. Now that I dig deep into my brain, there is canonical information that supports that in Tyrants of the Hell. So my apologies.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I was just asking. I was just curious because I just had heard about it.
It took me a second to go through the files in my brain. Sorry, because you said that. I was like, part of my brain, my main mouth is going no, and my brain is like, hold on, I think there's something there. Let me look.
I've never played it.
But yes,
so I know nothing about them. That's where
you have the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah.
You can keep it as simple as the honest truth. Succubus plus mortal equals Cambion. Cambion plus mortal equals tiefling. That's where it starts, and you can make this the fun. My great granddad from 50 generations ago broke a deal with the devil, and I'm the result of it now, 500 years removed. If you want to do that, go ahead. Yeah. Nothing gonna stop you.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if it was bullshit or not when I heard it. I was like, I don't know if this is real, so I was like, I'm gonna ask Jim. He probably knows. I'm not enough of an edgelord to play a tiefling, you know. It's just something I never have done, which is saying a lot.
Yeah. Great granddad from breaking that deal so you didn't come out as a tiefling? If you went back in time to do that, would you turn into a human or would you still be a tiefling?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Well, we time travel's still in the title. I want to go
Interesting.
ahead and kind of
Well,
keep us somewhat focused.
I would say that it really does. It would depend on how you're establishing time travel then, because it's one of those things where you could do it as like three separate things. Either it's impossible because you couldn't go back in time to do this if you were already human. So it could be one of those things. Two, it could be that you have always gone back in time to stop this, but something else along the timeline that you're unaware of has resulted in you being a tiefling. Or three, it does change it, but then I don't know why people would be like, let me change my entire stat block and get rid of all my racial stuff just to go back in time to fix this thing. But I mean, it could be a thing that you could do with an NPC. I don't know that players would really want to do that.
Soma kicking in a comment. I struggle to think of a backstory for a tiefling. Call me unoriginal, but I write a lot of humans because I can relate. No, that's not unoriginal. That's why the term humanoid and demi-human were put in the game that everyone gets pissed off about now, because every person playing Dungeons and Dragons is a human. So they're giving those terms so we as humans can see the fantasy world for the first time from a human lens. It's not a racist fucking term, man.
Now, I will say that when I was younger, I was very much I don't want to play a human. I'm a human. I want to play something different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like as I've gotten older, I've more leaned into like humans are actually kind of badasses in this world. Like you're standing toe to toe with fucking people who could live for 1,000 fucking years. You're a badass. Like period. Dot.
I played it. I played human as a 1E because mechanically I didn't have a level cap.
Fair.
Most players in 1E were humans because we didn't have level caps. I want to be an elf. Okay, have fun being a 7 fighter, 11 wizard while I'm a 26 pussy. That was metagaming, mechanically speaking. That was why most of and I think honestly part of the drive was to make sure that we were playing that game from the perspective of humans. If you want to be a dwarf, if you want to be elf, that's fine. These are your rules. But as humans, looking at demi-humans and humanoids, this is how you experience the world.
Interesting. I don't know. I think that most of the time nowadays people only pick human because it's like I can get a +1 to all of my stats, or I can get a free feat.
Extra feet.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
like
absolutely
mechanical.
The
other variant humans that get cool stuff that isn't just like +1s to everything or a feat. Like there are other variant humans that you can play with it within D&D. Like you have some of them that are like, okay, I don't get all this extra bonus stuff, but I have dark vision when no other human does, just because that's a part of my race's backstory.
Yeah. Now, Soma, to kick back in on that, depending on your campaign, a backstory for a tiefling isn't going to be any different than anyone else.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker, because if someone asks why are you a tiefling, that's racist. People can't ask that anymore to table. You don't have to explain what happened with your background unless you want to, unless you want to add that extra layer. So yeah, never before in D&D have we been at a point where our player character, our race is just literally a skin.
Yeah.
That's all. It's just your appearance.
It's just racial feats is all it is at this point.
So yeah, we don't emphasize the differences between that anymore because it's verboten. It's bad form in most campaigns.
Honestly, the only racial thing that really comes into play within your characters is your height. Like that's really the only thing that really matters. Like
it's cosmetic. It's a skin. Yeah, it's cosmetic. It's a skin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's really the only thing I can think of that's like not just flat out like, oh, I just get different features. Is
my tiefling is my Darth Vader my tiefling is my Darth Vader Fortnite skin, and my human is my Princess Leia Fortnite skin. That's what it's down to in 5e, guys.
That's fair.
I had my barbarian ask a trite when he was introduced to the party, why is she blue? Yeah. That's what's missing. I love that. And like last night's session between the elf and the dwarf. I hate bloody elves. Oh, it speaks. I don't understand what it says, but I love that interaction. I was keeping my eye on it to make sure that everyone's still smiling because, session 1, first time someone jumps in and he's throwing beans at the other guy while the other guy can't speak with animals because he must be some beast. Let me speak with animals on him to talk to him. And Dwarf's like, motherfucker,
I love that. It's amazing.
But because I'm willing to let them inhabit that point. We had a lot of fun gameplay because the table is mature enough to appreciate to enjoy that without getting all SJW on each other. We're having some really fun moments, man. You know,
I would say like
he's
even
playing a dwarf as a dwarf. The other guy's playing an elf as a yes, absolutely fantastic interaction. Wonderful players. I mean, dude, it's so fucking awesome. That was a great group last night. Great game.
I'm gonna say two separate things on this. One,
Mhm.
like there are people within the regular world that are just like this who are just not being racist. They just have no fucking clue. They're just asking questions about them. And
Yeah.
two, there's no reason why if you're a super like SJW type person that you can't be curious about other people's fucking cultures. Like there's no reason you can't go, hey, what's this about? You know? Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
100%.
No.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, I'm not gonna. Old man shakes fist clouds. Everyone knows where I stand on most of that stuff. I
Yeah.
prefer not to muddy the waters. And I'll leave it at that. But yeah,
Fair.
having access to allowing that freedom for my players put in a bunch of extra roleplay opportunities that otherwise, you know, probably would have been a little bit flat. But yeah, so don't be afraid of letting your dwarfs be dwarfs. Don't be afraid of letting your elves be elves and letting your tieflings be tieflings. It's okay. You know, like the joke that we made the other day with the dark elves. You know, no one likes the idea of every dark elf is evil, but everyone likes the idea of every female dark elf being a dominatrix. That's something that no one got rid of. You know. What are you laugh? Oh, you didn't. You never thought of that, did you?
I never thought about that. That's funny as fuck.
But it's fucking true, isn't it?
It's true. I never thought about that. That's a good. Yeah, that's fair.
So we're accepting
certain evil. I think that's yeah. Yeah.
Yes, campaigns are predicated on it. A lot of storyline is predicated. Homeland, the Sojourn series, the Drizzt books only work because every other dark elf is evil.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that story works. If everyone in that city was neutral good, you don't have the Homeland saga. You don't have Sojourn. You don't have Drizzt because he's not special.
I don't know how you be a race that's not evil.
Drizzt stuff, yes.
Be Loth, you know.
Salvatore did a really good job of some subtle, very, very subtle statements in those books in regards to that. But you know what I'm talking about right there, Soma. Yeah. But yeah, the fact is the only reason that story works is because he's bound in the Menzoberranzan, this cavern of ultimate decrepit evil and decadent freaking horrid nastiness. So that's why he's special. But now it's wrong to say that all dark elves are that way because Drizzt proves it. Okay, but so then that means the other 97% are still that way, right? Well, that's racist to say. So what's the percentage? What's the acceptable percentage that we can say these dark elves are evil without upsetting everybody? That's, you know.
Here's my thing. You as a race, your main god is Loth. Like your main god is a god of chaos. You are evil.
No, they also have Corinne Salih, who replaced Orcus as the goddess of undeath. I mean, oh yeah, that's kind of evil too, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but yeah. So again, ain't no one coming to my table and banging down my door. I hope. And saying, "Ooh, you're playing politically incorrect stuff." Know your audience, know your table. If your players are mature enough to go with these themes and not get offended, then enjoy them and sink in them. If you got people that are worried about it, that's your table, and you respect their feelings, then don't ignore it. It's table by table, person by person kind of a thing. I can absolutely stand on where I believe. But if where I believe is making some of my players uncomfortable, it's easy for me to come off of where I believe just a little bit, you know? Like my online Greyhawk campaign, two of those classes and one of those classes and two of those races shouldn't even exist in the fucking world. But I want to accommodate my players and let them have their fun. So I'll change the world so they can enjoy themselves for a little while. So, you know, it's okay. Not the world, but you know what I'm saying. The Quaddle person.
Yeah, one of them.
And what was Bailey before that? When
yes, yeah. No, he was a Goliath. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I thought you meant like currently. I was like, what two races?
No, so now I think we're good.
Gnome, she's a halfling. He's a human. I was like,
yeah, you guys are good.
I was like,
Yeah. So,
I mean, I
but
feel like it's
there
out of
for
place.
Greyhawk, we had two races that didn't exist in the game except for his antagonists, and we have an artificer, and artificers came out 6 years ago,
Has it been that long?
and they were 4 years ago. Then
Oh man,
okay, I was trying to say six and hope that they weren't as fucking trash broken as they are that they've been tuned, but no, it's 3, and they're still broken trash tuned. They were designed to work in Eberron. They should not have been brought out of Eberron, but somewhere along the line, Tasha said they could come out of Eberron, so now they fuck up everyone's campaigns. You know? I'm kidding. They are very, very potent to about level 10, and then they just fucking flatline.
Yeah.
They just flatline after level 10. I don't want to say flat, but their power curve is, they got a power cliff for the first 5, 7, 8 levels, and then it just kind of drops down compared to the rest of the group. So it levels out. Yeah. They really do. But therein lies the rub. Most of your campaigns don't go past level 8 or level 10 anyway, so your artificer dominated gameplay the entire point of your campaign.
I will say that our what we do in Barovia, our Tyrone Delis is not that bad for as far as being an artificer. He's got a 19 armor class. I have that as a lizard folk, just no armor. So like it's not like he's not like super overpowered. None of his stuff is like doing crazy damage at any point in time. So I don't think that he's like.
Yeah, Soma and Josh here is that guy. Soma says our artificers overtuned. Sure, don't care. I'm an Iron Man Thunder Punch people. That's Trevor. It's Trevor. But again, like I said, acknowledging that they do this by design. They do that at the top half. It's not the game designer's fault that we never do that part of the campaign. Okay? We only do that part of the campaign and scream about how powerful artificers are because we never watch their power curve drop off at the top half of the scale.
Yeah.
Can't bitch about them being badly tuned when you don't play the full spectrum of the class. Monks get stronger the later the game. Mid game is strong for monk. Late game not so much. Early game not so much. Mid game really good. Rangers are fucking badasses if you put them in a campaign that supports their gameplay. If you're doing Dungeons in the Mad Mage, a Ranger's going to be a useless piece of turd. Well, not useless, but they're going to be like, can I dip in fighter so I can get the Battle Master shots so I feel like I'm doing more because my spell slots run out and blah, blah, blah.
Let me ask you.
I do think you can only go so far tanking if you apply high level with them. Go ahead.
I mean,
real tanking doesn't exist in D&D.
Yeah.
Oh, it kind of does. Go ahead, dude.
I mean, as far as physical damage, you can tank, but like magic, not really. But
I'm class of 22.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I completely lost what I was about to say. That's my fault. Damn. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I know what I was going to ask you. Okay. So today I saw a thing where a person was talking about like they don't think that it's fair that they have a pet bear and their pet bear doesn't have their own turn. Right. And
okay.
So because most things are like, okay, you have to use a bonus action to command them. You still get an action, so I don't see an issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like if this is just a thing that I have, like it's not part of my class, then I have to take a full action to command this thing to do something instead of it being able to act on its own. And they don't think that this is a fair, balanced thing.
Is that accurate? First and foremost.
Tasha's
what class are you talking about?
They didn't specify a class for themselves. They just said they had a pet.
So it's a jerk off argument. We don't even have any information to try to figure it out. If the DM gave them a pet bear and they don't summon it as a beast warden or anything like that, it's literally a pet bear with no gameplay mechanic, then yeah, use your fucking action to tail your pet bear to go do something because it's not a class ability.
Yes. I'm
in full support of that, DM, from the simple fact that you are adding something extra. You shouldn't get something that the Beast Warden gets for free because, you know what I'm saying? No, he has to be a class to get to do this. You're getting to do this for free. Shut up and take it as an action. But again, we don't have the whole picture.
That's right. I don't.
So yeah, it's. It sounds. I don't want to go too much far into that.
It sounded to me like they were trying to play the chick from Vox Machina.
Critical Role. Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
I saw it on TV. I want to do it. Okay, and that's fair. Make a Ranger Beast Warden.
But they were like,
and then it's a bonus action. You're good to go.
They were like, it doesn't make any sense to me that I could get attacked and my bear's not going to try to fight somebody back for me. They're like, I have to take an action to tell them to attack. They're just going to stand there. Otherwise, they're just going to dodge. It's like, yeah, they're
That's the
they're a
rules, dude,
bear.
because there's other classes that allow that. So why would we give you the free thing?
I think
Kind of like one of, I love one of my players, but we spend a lot of time talking about what you can and can't do with prestidigitation. No, that's minor illusion. You can't do that. No, that's this. You can't do that. No, if another spell allows you to do that specifically, you can't let this one general spell do it as well. It's the power. So that's the same theory applies to that, in my opinion.
yeah. From what I understand, the rules as written are if there is a greater level spell that says that it does this, then then the lower level spell doesn't. But if there isn't anything higher, then it's up to the DM's discretion to decide if it does it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it's rules as written.
But it's nice and simple. If there's two spells and one says this does it, and the other one says it might, then the one that does it, and the other. If this says it can, and this one doesn't say it can, then this one cannot.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that fucking simple, guys. At least for me and my team. And I get some grumbles, I get some gurs, I get some whatevers, and I'm okay with that, man. Because what happens when you have the person show up, for example, moving through space or ending turn in space? That's the purview of your gnomes and your halflings. If you're letting everyone do that, then they're losing one of the cool things for their ability. And so make sure but yeah, that's knowing a lot of extra rules and a lot of extra stuff to be able to make it work. So Soma, I wanted to read out your comment. You said, do you think you can kind of only go for tanking if you play a higher level with an artificer? Yeah, as far as tanking in regards to absorbing damage. That's one of the things. There's only a handful of abilities that are like taunt based. I think a lot of people come in from the MMO world into thinking that a tank, where's my taunt button? How do I keep aggro? You keep aggro by putting your dumbass in the right spot on the battlefield.
Yeah. Even the tank
There
artificer, their tank class just benefits people. It just benefits when you hit people. It doesn't really let you pull focus to you. It's I hit this person, they have disadvantage on everybody but me. That's what they're tanking.
Look, guys, I'm a longtime MMO player, and I am a forever tank when I play MMOs. But even as a forever tank, it has always baffled me how I can push a button named taunt and have some dickhead 11 feet from me that doesn't even speak words come running at me, mad at me. Yeah. That shouldn't be a thing. That really shouldn't be a thing in any game.
Even like if it isn't verbal and you're doing nonverbal stuff, like not every place has the same motions that mean the same thing. Like me flipping you off doesn't mean much of anything in Europe, but you doing a backwards peace sign does, like stuff like that. Like
but again, I guess like for me, I digress. In the heat of combat, what could I do as a warrior to get the thing that's over there beating on the person that just healed me to come over to me? Hi Mom, how you doing? Sorry guys, my mom just got here. We got a couple minutes to finish. Sorry. But anyway, positioning. That was the idea of wargaming and tactics, putting your body in such a position that they have to hit you or go around or work to get around you. Yeah. But when we allow each other to move through each other's spaces or move through an opponent's space because it's convenient to do, then tanking totally breaks down. Following the rules and paying attention to tactics will help you with tanking more than any magic button.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Look, that one session made me so mad when our rogue decided he wanted to run 30 feet away from everybody else. He's like, "Why weren't you doing anything? Because I'm tanking and you're 30 feet from me. Like, what do you want me to do for you?"
Right. Yeah. So exactly. I mean, it's tactical placement. It's positioning yourself on a battlefield and managing what you're attacking. And here's the other thing. This actually goes back to old school. I mean, goes into MMOs. Tanking and aggro isn't just the tank's problem, and that's the same thing in D&D. If your players aren't playing intelligently, if you set yourself up in the hallway and two people run past you into the room, you can't tank. You've got nothing. Well, why did you let me get? You're 20 feet that way. I'm over here. Things like that,
I regularly got yelled at doing stuff in WoW where people are like, "You're hitting too much damage to people who are like way away from us. I can't aggro all of them. Stop it!" Like people kept, yeah, I got that all the time.
That's your job. Don't be
Yeah.
a dumbass and max out on something that the tank can't see.
Yep, yeah.
You know, it's
yeah,
the same
I
thing in
agree.
D&D. You know, if 3 of your party are beating on this one guy and your wizard shoots 5 magic missiles at the guy that hasn't been engaged yet, I have the tactical obligation of making that bad guy charge at the wizard that shot him, not jump into the pile of bodies.
Yeah.
You know, well, he walked right back. I'll take the opportunity attack to come punch you in the face because you're squishy and you shot me. You know.
Fair.
So yeah, tactics with tanks and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, that's tactics. That's placement, occupying space, and an artificer can be really fucking good at that at higher levels. You know, they're not going to get hit. They do have some stuff that controls area movement, right?
Yeah. I got stuff like
You know,
Mace
hell,
and stuff like that.
if you put all 3 of your stupid crossbow cannons up on the force beam that knocks everyone back, you got 3 targets that can't ever get near you.
I personally would run each of them as the different things and have all this stuff up because that would be way more beneficial to you.
Point being,
Yeah.
okay,
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying though. Or just, hey, I got 3 flamethrowers that have a 15-foot cone. I'm just gonna go around a party just at everything in the middle, you know.
Mhm.
No, I get you.
Yep. So yeah, placement and tactics will do it. You know, but anyway, we're getting near the end of stream here.
Yes.
We started on time travel. We finished off on rando shit as we are wont to do. Appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, despite all my grumping, despite all my grring, I think there's a lot of fun ideas that can be experienced with time travel. Take it small, take it slow, be cautious with it. Treat the ideas like a domain of dread more than a campaign twisting, campaign changing, campaign driving event. Because if you're driving your campaign based on time travel, that means you're obligated to have as many timelines as you're going to affect with time travel documented out, recorded, and available, and able to manage. That's a lot more prep than most people, are prepared for. So, but some fun ideas.
I just keep getting this image in my head because we were talking about Star Trek. There's an episode where no matter what they do, they keep blowing up in this one spot, right? And they keep trying to go back in time and fix the issue and change this event from happening. But no matter what they do, they keep winding up back in the same spot and exploding. And eventually it hits where like a bunch of them show up in the same spot at one time from like different timelines, and one of them is just William Riker, who has gone through fucking hell by himself. Like he's been fighting nothing but Borg. Everyone else on the ship is dead. Like, and I just keep getting this image of him where he's like, "No, I'm done with this. I'm killing everybody. I'm not living through this anymore. We're done." Like, and I think that's kind of a fun thing too, where it's just like because of time travel looping through like this one place, you get this moment of just this dude just being done, like this guy who's like pretty much the light of the Enterprise, just being like, no, fuck this, we're all dying, we're not doing this time loop shit anymore. No. Oh, I don't hear you.
That's what we were talking about during the whole Groundhog Day thing. That's something always gets left out of the equation, you guys. I think it'd be cool if I could do this in time travel times 5. As much trouble as Bill Murray had in Groundhog Day, how about 5 Bill Murrays having to do 5 different things in the same? That's what you're signing up for when you look into time travel, man. It's a thick, heavy, deep concept that you're gonna, at the end of the day, the first 7 or 8 times you do it, you're gonna be like, did y'all have fun? It was okay, I guess. Yeah, that sucked to really prep up, man. I had such higher hopes for it. I had such good plans for it. Yeah, it was okay. It could have been better, but and after a few of those, hopefully you're better at them than I am, and you can find a niche and make them work. For me, it's like, this is way too much preparation and time to put into it to get. It's okay. You know, and if you don't do it well, that's the best you're gonna get. Is that was okay, because everyone comes to the table. Remember, we're D&D people. By default, we're geeks. By default, we like science fiction. By default, hi mom, how you doing?
Yeah.
Love you. My mom is saying hi. They're gonna go out. You can wave to the camera. They saw you. Hey. But yes, old man has a mama, and my mom looks younger than me. Go figure that shit out, right? Good Asian jeans. Love you, baby. Love you, Maddie. Y'all have fun. They're headed up to the casino to have some fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
But love you.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I guess we should tell everybody that we're not going to be on for
Oh.
tonight.
Yes, no
With
session
our-
tonight.
with our
I did some bad planning. My wife is joining What We Do in the Shadows as well, Saltra. But I wasn't paying attention to the calendar, so we brought her in, and then she had to go out of town tonight. So it's like, okay, so we have a brand new character in a
Who hasn't officially
bar
joined.
with hasn't officially joined, with 3 dead quest hooks and quest givers laying around. And I don't want to try to hand wave all that. I want her there to get involved. So we are I made the executive call for story purposes to say no.
I'm glad you
play
said something
next
because
week.
I really had been talking to Sam for like the last week. I'm like, man, how's she going to do this with Cindy being out? Like, she's not even like officially joined our group. Like, what's going to
I
happen?
didn't want to. No, I made that decision. It's like, normally I wouldn't mind having one person off, but we're at just such a weird point in the campaign, in the story. How, I mean, we're left off, like I said, they're sitting in a bar with everything but the five of them dead.
Yeah.
Everything but the 5 of them in this bar is dead, laying around massacred. And they're staring across at each other, drinking bottles of whiskey, and that's where the session ended. So yeah, I want to make sure that we pick up with her back in, so we won't be back for tonight. But yeah, have fun with this stuff with time travel, guys. Take it in small bits, take it in small bites. You know what? And here's the other thing: you guys might not be as reality driven and as anal retentive as my ass. You and your group might be able to say, "Fuck it, who cares?" In which case, God bless you. I'm really glad that you've got that freedom with your group where we're just playing for the joy of playing. You're not a jaded old veteran yet. Your group will even work with you to make the shit, to make up the holes, because you're playing for the joy of D&D. So yeah, don't let my arg kind of dampen that joy. If you're still in, play with it, man. Have fun. Understand that you're always gonna be a bit short, because there's a bunch of D&D geeks, there's a bunch of sci-fi people. We know about time travel from multiple different angles from our media. Every person's going to bring those concepts and those ideas to the table when you first talk about time travel. Be prepared to address those.
Yeah.
That can be immersion breaking for people. If it's something they well and truly, if they're sitting down, no, the butterfly effect is the determining thing of time travel, and say, yeah, but I don't want to try to manage that for my campaign, you lost that dude. They may roll their dice, they may play with it, but that is the first of it's okay. Because the simple fact in his brain, butterfly effect equals time travel. No butterfly effect, this is bullshit. This is a fucking farce. DM doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Fuck it. I don't want to leave the campaign. I'll sit through it, and when we get to the other side, hopefully things will be better. You just earned your first, and it's okay. Because of a difference in philosophy.
That movie hardcore messed with me.
Huh?
That movie hardcore messed with me.
Yeah. But it's not, there's all the different, Josh has thrown 9 different Star Trek things at me. I'll be straight up. He's got more pop culture time travel knowledge than I do. Straight up.
Everything.
But he doesn't have the capability to turn it into a game.
No, not really.
I have the ability to turn everything into a game, but I don't believe in time travel as a mechanic.
Fair.
So, touche. But yeah, don't listen to me on that. Have fun with it, guys. Relax, enjoy yourselves. Do small bits of time travel. Don't use butterfly effects for your early missions. Don't use I stepped on the tail of a fox and now all foxes look like beavers 1,000 years later. Well, it might be fun, but
It could be fun to do like a small little thing that doesn't really mean anything to the rest of the world. That could be a silly fun thing to do.
So yeah, that's what it comes down to. Time travel is silly. It's fun. It's a farce. It's a satire. It's a distraction. It's not a real thing to include in your D&D campaigns.
Yeah.
They're silly. They're MacGuffins, and you can have a lot of fun with them that way.
Yeah. Oh man, we're not even gonna get into all the Doctor Who stuff because there's some fun stuff you can do with that too. But yeah, no, it's a fun thing. But I agree. At the end of the day, it's a MacGuffin kind of thing. It would take a lot of writing to do it right, and it would have to be very one-off. It would have to be very specific kind of stuff you would have to do to make it work.
Yeah,
it would be.
Yeah, and definitely work with your players on it.
Yeah.
Make sure that you, before you've decided to do it, that everyone is on the same page of what the expectations and limitations are. That's not going to be something. And this is a table management, table efficiency tip. Spend the half hour before you even sit down to roll the dice, so you don't have to spend the hour and a half while you should be rolling dice. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because these kind of conversations are going to come up. So if you can handle, do a sub session 0, if you will, session 0.9. Hey, time travel, thinking about it. This is what I'm looking at. How do y'all feel about it? Well, Fermi paradox. Well, butterfly effect. Well, blah, blah. Okay, that's all well and good. I'm not here to argue philosophy. What can we do to have fun time? Have that conversation before you start. Everyone's starting at the same point of expectation, and you can enjoy it for what it is instead of breaking out of immersion to have those conversations of Fermi paradox versus butterfly effect in the middle of a game. You're not playing D&D anymore. You're just kind of arguing philosophy with the session time.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents,
I agree. Yeah, it is a very special kind of like important thing to do for it. It absolutely. The only so I just have one more thing which I think you could also do, and this is just like kind of in the same vein of you can do it where in places where it doesn't matter, is time travel within other planes is also another thing that you could do technically. So you could be like, okay, well, here's a different universe. It doesn't matter anyways what you do into it because you're only going in there for this amount of time. But again, it's what you said where it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah.
There, meaningful
specific
time
thing I
travel
thought
is
about.
nearly impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where we landed.
Yeah.
Meaningful time travel within D&D, having your players' actions truly matter in a campaign is impossible to manage. Having little one-off, fun, satirical, silly, MacGuffin-esque thing, time travel's perfect for.
Yeah. No, I agree. I really, yeah. I think we've landed on basically the middle ground of it. Do it if you want to, but work into it. Talk with your party.
Yeah, more than anything else.
Absolutely.
Fun concept, I guess. I don't know. It's well, we're kind of already time traveling playing D&D, but whatever, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Good conversation, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Are we ready to end? Do you need to get going or what?
I mean, yeah, we can end for now. If you want to do something after we're done here, I'm basically free for tonight. I just have to get food.
Yeah, I need to figure out some food and stuff too. I'm not sure. I need to do something else. I got suckered back into fucking EQ Quorum so bad. I don't know if any of you guys ever played Classic EverQuest, but this is like 1999, 2000 questing interface layout, and everything is such a hardcore nostalgia trip. And it's not for 99.9999999% of the population. So I'm never I am not going to ask anyone to play that with me because I don't want to. The game sucks. I know it sucks. That's okay. I have fun with it, dude. Straight up walked out the gate. Level 1 dude died in my first fight. I was like, yes. Yes, the toxicity is back. I can't even beat a fucking bear without dying. Oh, how I missed you so much. Feeling like I'm earning my power instead of go yell at the peon. Get up. Oh, here's your 10 golden level. Yeah, fuck that, dude. I'm done with that mess.
Fair enough.
But hey, guys, it's been a lot of fun. We'll be back as always. I'll be here Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1. Thinking about getting some weekend streams. I don't know. I need to get some more traction out there. I love this interaction. Love having you guys. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate the feedback. Soma, if you're still there, thank you. Killer Man, it was great seeing you again today as well. And I'm scrolling up. We got a lot. Enforcer, always a pleasure in there. Good times. Thank you guys so much for dropping in. Rob, thank you for dropping in. Appreciate you guys. Y'all be safe out there. Josh, do your out on your side now too.
Okay, so Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays, you can catch us over on my channel doing live play D&D sessions. That's 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Central time for Jimothy over there. Right now I am playing through the Kingdom Hearts series as well. I'm on Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm like 3/4 of the way done with it right now. So yeah, we're gonna go to my favorite game after that, which is Birth by Sleep, which everybody can come talk shit to me about because everybody hates it but me. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
I'll be getting my Zomboid streams going on. If you didn't catch it, I did try to depopulate Baldur's Gate on was it Monday night or Tuesday night? I don't remember. It was boring. The game sucks. It won't let me make more than 16 zombies without bugging out. So that was something I built up in my head to be really fucking cool. It was absolutely such a disappointment, man. Oh,
That's it.
I went from loving the game to hating the game in that moment. What do you mean I can't kill the whole fucking city? This is bullshit.
Time to start putting mods in.
All I gotta say is y'all Dark Urge motherfuckers out there. No, genocide is Dark Urge. You guys just killing your lover in their sleep is not that evil. Going and turning kids into zombies,
This shit happens all the
fucking
time
evil,
in
baby.
mythology. Like,
Right? Yeah, act like you special or something. Hell no, man. All joking aside, I think I'm almost at the end of my product cycle with BG3, so probably getting back into some Zomboid, some silly fun games.
yeah,
Get my streams going again soon too. But good
Yeah.
times, guys.
absolutely.
All right, man. We're not streaming gaming later, are we?
We can if you want to. It's up
If
to
you want to keep the time block open, or at least make sure your schedule is up, we'll see.
yeah.
We'll holler offline, man. We'll
Yeah.
holler offline. Y'all be safe. I'm gonna turn off my off button. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, chums.